Alright, welcome back everybody. I'm going to get right into it. I'm going to start to button up what's left on the bottom end here so I can get the oil pan on. I've got my oil pump ready to go. This is a billet oil pump drive from Precision Oil Pumps. Honestly, not necessary, really. The stock oil pump in most situations will do just fine. So, you always remember there is this washer. It's like a lock washer that goes on there. That is, I guess traditionally you put the drive shaft down in the pump shaft, and that holds it from just dropping right out the other side of the block. Or you can put it in the oil pump itself, but it's going to fall at some point. But let's get that on. The big point is remember to put it on. There'll be some crying later. The bolts are from Oldsmobile Performance Products. ARP does not make a lot of bolt stuff for the Oldsmobiles. You can get rods and mains, head bolts, some of the, the usual stuff, but some of the more intricate stuff they just don't make. So this torques to 35 foot-pounds. All right. Now we can slip on our Milodon windage tray. Oh, there we go. Had to get under that cotter key. Get that settled. Once I get this torqued on, I will show you some of the measurements I did on the underside to make sure that the clearances were correct. All right, let's get these guys torqued down. Milodon says put it on with oil, torque it to spec. Since this thing is going to be in the oil pan, I went ahead and put a little red Loctite on the threads to bolt this down, just so I know when it's in there, it's not coming out. All right, let me move the camera because I'll show you a couple things I had to do to get this to work right. So here was my issue. I bought a stock style Olds 455 dipstick tube, and the end was pretty much straight, and as you can see, I've put a curve in it using a pipe bender. It was hitting right on the lip of this, and Milodon says that this pan was, I think, like 8 3/4 from ridge to ridge. It had to be. That was the spec for that. So that's where it was at. The problem is when the dipstick would come up, it hit right on the lip. So I notched this in it. There's going to be a notch in the oil pan that kind of goes around here, so there will be some room, but it was still hitting this. So with the curve and with that notch in it, I can get the dipstick in and it'll go in place where it's supposed to. I'm not going to drive this in until I have the heads on and I put the headers on, so I know whether I need to sweep this one way or the other to make it work. But that little bit of curve in the stick and then putting that notch in will get me, because the pan sits really close to this. So I needed a little bit of a notch to get room in it. Now, let me show you something cool. So that's my phone, and this is made by Windage, I don't know, but it is a wireless endoscope. If I turn this on, the end is even lighted. Well, I can go into my phone when I pull up the app on my phone, I can get into some pretty tight places with this. So let me show you. So I can take this guy and actually look on the inside. And what you need to do is you need to check the clearance on, hope this is coming out okay, filming me. Anyway, so as the crank turns, as the rods come up, they sweep close to the outside of our windage tray. So what Milodon says, it needs to be a 1/8 clearance is a minimum clearance in between the windage tray and any moving part in the crankshaft. So I found a smaller screwdriver, and it was about 3/16, which is just a little bit bigger than the 1/8, and I used that as a gauge. So I would rotate the crank around, then I'd put it in like right in between the rod and where the windage tray is, and I could use that as almost like a feeler gauge to be able to get the size. Let me see if I can show you that. All right, let's see if I can show you this. So as the crank rotates and sweeps up, you can see right there. That is one of the nuts on the top of the cap, and that's as close as it gets to the pan. So if I use the screwdriver, which is 3/16 of an inch, I can get in there. I don't know if you can see this, but that passes straight through, and this is 3/16, so it's a little fatter than the 1/8 by 1/16. So I know that this is within spec. Milodon says that it has to have 1/8 clearance between any moving part of the crank and your windage tray. And if you don't have that, it voids the warranty. So I had to check all the way through for the connecting rods that actually hit the front two, don't sweep through it, and it's just these back ones here. So I checked them all to make sure everything is clearanced out. Good to go. This is a fuel pump block-off plate. I got this from Rocket Racing and Performance. I could have made this. It's just a block of aluminum. I could have cut the size out to fit the gasket, drill the holes, but I like that. That's cool. But like with everything else that I do, it's got to be custom, right? A couple of coats of Oldsmobile Blue. This thing will be ready to go. There we go. A couple coats of paint. Custom. Looks pretty cool, huh? Almost. Not quite. Let's get a little of Eastwood pre-painting prep. Soak that down. Let's give this a couple of wipes. You can see that. Now it's cool. I like that. I like that. So it's just a little hint of that Oldsmobile Blue inside on the Rocket. Anyway, I wanted to do more. I was going to put on the front cover, and I was going to put this on and then get the pan on, and my Permatex high tack that I like to use on all my parts, I'm out of it. And so is everywhere around here. So I've got to wait a couple days for that stuff to come in, and I always like to use that on my gaskets. So I'm just going to wait. So that's it for this one. Short and sweet, but any progress is good progress, right? Well, thanks for tuning in. ended up being kind of short because I don't have what I need to get the rest of it done. But whatever. Glad you're here. So if you look down below, there is where the like button is. You can click like, click subscribe. If you move a little bit over, you'll see that there's a heart that says thanks. The YouTube gods have decided that I'm worthy of the super thanks, which means if you get anything out of these videos at all, and I get plenty of replies from guys thanking me for like the steering column video and the Saginaw 800 and a couple of things that I've done that have helped people out. So if you feel inclined and you feel a little generous, if you want to kick a couple dollars to me through the super thanks, that would be fantastic. Or go to my t-shirt shop, buy a t-shirt. Anything you do helps the project along. Anyway, that's it for now. It's short but sweet, but a couple days I'll be back on it because I'll have the stuff I need, and then the pan goes on, and then the heads go on, and then we start looking at rocker arm geometry and push rod length and all those things that I'm sure you've probably seen 100 videos on. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm Hutch. This is Hutch High Perf. See you guys.